А? Все понятно. Ну да. Hello, dear friends. My name is Helen. Shall I start? No. Okay. We are waiting. Okay. Good afternoon, dear friends. My name is Helen, and today I'm honored to introduce my local city of Samara to you. Today, I'll tell you some facts about the history of our city, about the role it plays nowadays in our today's life of our country. And during our excursion, we'll have some pauses, and if any questions, of course, you are welcome, and I'll answer them with great pleasure. So, we start our excursion in Glory Square. After the victory in World War II, our people decided that they should have a separate square to celebrate such great event. And this square was in the middle of it. You can see a very tall monument holding wings above his head. It is a symbol of the aircraft industry of our city. During World War II, the input of that industry was really great in the victory in that war. The worker is holding wings above his head. Aircraft industry. And after World War II, aircraft industry was the start for space industry in our country also. In this square, as it is Glory Square, there is also a flame, some kind of a tradition in our country to put a flame in squares to commemorate all those people who were killed during different wars. This flame is a really unique place. People come here to commemorate our great parents, our grandparents, because the role which that war, I mean World War II, played in the history of our country, it was really the hardest time in our history. And when we are talking about that war, about Great World War II in Russia, we call it Great Patriotic War, it must be said that every family, not only in Russia, but in any republic of the former Soviet Union, in Georgia, in Belarus, in Ukraine, in any other republic, and also, of course, in Russia, every family has relatives, has grandparents, has great grandparents who took part in that war and who were wounded or killed during that war. So the flame is the place where people come to commemorate their relatives. Besides, our young couples on their wedding day, there is some kind of a tradition after they sign all the documents. They start their so-called wedding tour around the city. And during that tour, the first place they go to is to put flowers near the flame, again to commemorate our relatives. Behind the flame, there is a face of a woman as a symbol of our motherland who sent her sons to the war. About 600,000 people from our Samara region went to the war as soldiers. Practically a half of them did not come back. So that war was really the hardest time in our history. And of course, we mustn't forget about that period. We must tell our children, we must tell younger generations about that period, about the horrible part any war plays in our life. Behind the flame, you can see golden domes of the cathedral. It is an Orthodox cathedral of George the Victorious. George the Victorious is in our Orthodox religion, is the patron saint of all the soldiers. So as it is Glory Square, you can see that cathedral in this square. But it must be said that during, it is a modern cathedral, during the Soviet period of our history, unfortunately, uh, during the Soviet period, the party was against any religion. And during that period, practically all the Orthodox churches and cathedrals of our region, of our city, were destroyed. And all the churches we can see nowadays in the streets of Samara, practically all of them are modern ones. But there are also some historic ones too. Okay, now we can come inside the cathedral, or we can come closer and to appreciate a perfect view over the Volga River. The Volga River is the longest river of Europe. It is the largest river, the longest river of our country, of the Russian Federation. And of course, the Volga influences the life of our city very much. Samara was founded as a wooden fortress to protect the boundaries of Russia in a place where the river Samara, which gave the name to the fortress, flows into the Volga River. The fortress very rapidly lost its military meaning because the boundaries of Russia moved further and there was no use of. But due to geographical position, situated on the banks of the Volga River, Samara rapidly turned into a great trade center as it stood on a cross of two main trade routes. The first one, a water route along the Volga River, and the second one, a land route from Asia to Europe, a so-called Silk Route. Due to its geographical position, Samara rapidly grew, and nowadays it is one of the largest cities of our country. The Volga River is really very beautiful near Samara. We are really lucky to have sand beaches along the embankment. So if you come to Samara in summer, you will have a great opportunity to appreciate a new saying which is used to be said in our city, that Samara is a resort, not only an industrial center of Russia, but also a great place to spend your holidays. The waters of the Volga River, the temperature of the waters of the Volga River in summer comes up to 20, 22, or even 24 degrees above zero. So quite a pleasant temperature to swim and bathe in the Volga River. In winter, when the temperature of the air goes down up to 15, 20, or sometimes even 25 or 28 minus, of course, the Volga River is frozen, and you can even walk along the ice to the other bank of the Volga River. On the other bank of the Volga River, there is also a very unique place, our natural resort, our national park, Samarskaya Luka. The nature of the Zhiguli Mountains, maybe, yes, maybe they look like hills. They are not very tall, but we proudly call them mountains because if you go to the other bank of the Volga River, you'll see that they look like real mountains. And originally, when they were formed, about, let me see, so the mountains were formed about 1 million or even 10 million years ago, when a part of the ground went up. So the Zhiguli Mountains, they are not of volcanic origin, they are of tectonical origin. So when the Zhiguli Mountains were formed, they were up to 1,000 meters high. But on the top of them, there were mostly sands and clays. Time passed, and that ground went down to the bottom of the mountains. Besides, our mountains, they're made of limestone. It's a very weak natural material like chalk. So it suffers from erosion, from the winds, from the water, from the rains very much. And today, the highest peak of the Zhiguli Mountains is only 351 meters above the sea level, but still we call them mountains. It's like a small model of the mountain chain in the of our region. It is really unique, as during the Ice Age, the ice did not reach the Zhiguli Mountains. It stopped only the 100 kilometers from the mountain chain. And today, in the Zhiguli Mountains, on the one hand, you can see the plants which were typical to the pre-ice age. But on the other hand, northern winds from the ice brought there the seeds of the northern plants. And today, just on the two neighborhood slopes, you can see plants from the Crimea, for example, from the Caucasus, the southern parts of our country, and at the same time, from Siberia, from the northern parts of our country. Due to such unique natural combination of plants and trees, different species of plants and trees, all the territory of the Zhiguli Mountains today, it is a national park, a natural reserve, but you can go there, you can take a boat and go to the other bank of the Volga River and appreciate the nature of the Zhiguli Mountains. Now we've come closer to the Cathedral of San Georgia, an Orthodox cathedral. It was constructed in a classical architectural style, typical to the Orthodox churches, to the Orthodox cathedrals. It's a very beautiful place, a very beautiful building. It's one of the largest cathedrals of our city. Orthodox religion is the religion of our country. Most of our people are Orthodox by their religion, but it must be said that Samara is like religion. We have not only Orthodox churches, but mosques of Russia, Muslims in Samara region, synagogue. So practically all religions have their buildings, have their followers in our place where young people come on their way right from the cathedral. We will turn the camera. Okay. A small monument in our Orthodox religion, Peter, okay? Peter and Fivronia, they are the pet monument. You can see all the things of true love, of true family. For example, behind that couple, you can see a boat, and the nose of the boat is in the shape of a swan. It is known that a couple of swans together till their death. And so, so all the symbols of family that square. In some minutes, we'll continue the excursion, and now we'll check if the cathedral is open. We can come inside, but you must keep in mind that in our Orthodox religion, all the women who enter an church, an Orthodox cathedral, they have to cover their head. Uh, Cathedral is open.
друзья, сейчас я буду студия. Hello, hello. Hello, it's me again. My name is Masha, as you remember, who played my play yesterday. Now you are in the city tour, and we are waiting a little bit. Then our guide change the place and change the internet connection for make your imagine and imagine our picture on YouTube better. But let's use this post for sending us question. I would like to remember that you can send question in WhatsApp, in the YouTube, and I saw in my phone and I understand that our guide ready, yes? And we can say, don't miss us, and please. They will come after maybe 30 seconds and you can see excursion. Please type in your question. Ask whatever you want about Samara, Russia, about what you would like to ask. Maybe what about weather, how we have deals, and be ready to know more about Samara and see more places than you have already saw. And dear friends, do you remember how called river when our city located? Where our city located? Mm-hmm. Connect with the typical Russian VK networks, social networks. Have you ever heard that we have VK networks? Vkontakte is the translate, and it's okay? Yes. Yes, and now let's see.
So we are back in the sun. We've already read some of your questions, which you've texted in the chat. So one of them was about the cathedral, about the building itself. Yes, you're a person who has asked that question. It's right. The domes of our churches and of our cathedrals, of Orthodox churches and Orthodox cathedrals, are really made of gold. It's not very thick. It is made of so-called very thin leaves of gold, very thin pieces, but of real gold. That's why maybe you've heard that the capital of our country, Moscow, is sometimes called Moscow with golden heads. It is due to the domes of Orthodox churches and cathedrals of our capital. And this cathedral of George the Victorious, the patron saint of all the soldiers in our Orthodox religion, are also the domes of the church. They are also covered with real gold. As for the temperature today, not so many people, yes, you're right, in the square, because to tell the truth, in spite of the fact that the sun is shining, thanks to it very much, because yesterday it was raining or even the snow was falling down. As for the temperature, it's only 2 degrees above zero now. So not a very pleasant temperature for walks in the city, for works in the city squares. So that's why maybe not so many people. Besides, it is a working day today, and people are their working places, so not so many of them in the streets of our city, in the squares of our city. As for the typical temperatures of our region, Samara has a so-called continental climate. It means that we have very high temperatures in summer. The hottest month in our region is July, when the temperatures comes up to 25, 30, 35, or even 40 degrees above zero in shade. And at the same time, as for the winter, we've got really severe winters when the temperatures go down up to 20, 25, and 28 degrees minus.
Also, one more question, the population of Samara.
Yeah, okay, the population of Samara. So some facts from today's life. Samara is one of the largest industrial centers of our country. Its population is more than 1 million people. To be exact, it is 1,170,000 people who live in our city, in the city of Samara. As for the region, it is 3 million and a half. And due to the fact, due to the population of our city, Samara is among the 10 largest cities of our city. So any questions? No. Okay, we continue our tour. Now we are going to take our car.
Опять здесь сейчас будет перерыв. Говорить? Hello, it's me again. Thank you very much for your question. So in YouTube now there are more than 50 people see our walking tour, 53 if I'm not mistaken. It's so amazing for me, and it's so pretty for our team who working in Samara city. Now I'm at university, but they are in the Samara street, as now you know, on the Glory, Square of Glory, and they come to new place because it's place you should visit if you will be in Samara. You of course see this beautiful place where they are going, but it's not the last place. You can see more interesting objects in our city. Please be ready, be open for answering us, because we're more than happy to answer your question, and maybe some information about university when I'm here. Oh yes, I heard from our technical director that we can show you my screen of my phone in few minutes, not now. And I would like to show you our Instagram. Some of you, I think, have already mentioned and tagged our Instagram, and you saw. Now you can see with me our WhatsApp chat, our Instagram, but later in a few minutes. No, I will do it. And later I will tell what I do. Oh. Several minutes I try to fix and open my phone. Let's wait, and in a couple of minutes now I will show you my screen. It's okay? Dear technical director, could you please tell me, good or not? Okay, let's wait a couple of minutes and you will see our Instagram. When we await some information about our university. Now Now I am located in the special auditorium of our university. This room is so big, and this is so big and make streams for you here. I think you know this logo and this university, and you ready to do with us. What time usually Russian citizens go back for their workplace? Thank you for your question. Let's answer. In typical Russian family and typical Russian factories, people work until from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m., like this one, or sometimes from 8 p.m. till also 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. It's a typical Russian works. It's okay. I try to connect. Yeah, don't worry. And from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. It's typical Russian working day. But we also have several times. You saw maybe some music. As you understand, now I am located in the big place, Boring Point, in the special name of our place. And now you can see my WhatsApp and you can see the question. Whoa, it's amazing. You saw that, whoa. Let's see together our question. What is the traditional food of Russia? Oh, thank you very much for your question, because we will have you will have more information on the Russian tradition class, but I would like to tell you that the traditional food of Russia is blini. Have you ever heard that we eat blini, pancakes? Yes? Also, we like pelmeni, dumplings, a lot of soups. We more than happy to eat soups, especially for me. I like soups very much. Also, we eat, I don't know the favorite place, the more favorite food, maybe kompot drink. It's the special like juice, but it's the boiled fruits. Also, we love borscht. It's a kind of soup. We love porridges, so many porridges, chicken, meat, also we love. And as you saw my screen phone, it's not interesting to look in WhatsApp. Maybe I would like to show you our Instagram. Not my Instagram was Summer School, don't worry. Oh, it's my Instagram, it's not interesting. Summer School Russia. If you are not follow our Instagram, dear friends, what happened? Masha is not so happy that you are not in our Instagram. Don't worry, I think you understand my joke, but I try to make your impressions of our school better. Now you saw our Instagram. Look, it's for me so beautiful. I hope so. And for what I open our Instagram? For mask. You can tap on the smile and find our mask. Please use it and tag us. Yeah, story. Great. Please follow our Instagram and make comments, tap like, and make stories. For example, now I can show you the secret who also with me in this place. Ta-da! Yeah, this is a boring point. You can see. Yeah, hello. You can. Yeah, several minutes. Yeah, it's not a story, but it's like a camera in camera. Yes, so magic. Say hello, our friends. Hello. This is a student from Samara University. Yeah, they also not from Russia, as you saw. This is our technical helper, and this is your hello. And here you can see the guide. Say hello. We wait. Please pay attention on this. Later I will remember you. Yes. So, dear friends, let's return for our stream. And I suggest to stay me with our Instagram for more questions from you and for more followers. Oh, I saw. Hello, everyone. Hello. Maybe you don't know, but we have free schools now. And free schools of them. Oh, Great. And I would like you that 3 schools which have already started now university, space materials and technology, Russian language and culture, and also fashion studies. Now you are in the big stream of Samara city, and you know, maybe met each other, oh sorry, and wait. So, when we are waiting for message from our guide, now I am again in VK. And write them. Oh, great. If you are in Russian country, you can try to understand what I saw. Oh, sticker. I love send stickers. What about you? Have you ever loved stickers? For what I open my phone? Because I would like to show you how looks our Samara region from the Cosmos or from the space or on the map. Samarskaya Oblast. So, several minutes. Maps. Oh, so many. I will add slower map. Yeah. It's, oh, look. Now you can see the Samara region. And we in Samara, you also with me in Samara, please. And we are here. Not so good picture, but Samara in the middle of the heart. And a lot of people say that Samara region like a heart. Now I saw again your question in WhatsApp. Let's answer. Thank you, dear Russian language and culture, for your active exchange. Yes, in our city. Is there any students exchange in our university? Yes, of course. And are there Malaysian students in Samara University? Thank you for a good question. I try to find the Malaysian students. And Muslim community. Yes, in Samara we have, for example, I live near Muslim community, near Muslim church. And 1, 2, 3, let's continue our excursion.
Mosques of Samara in Russia. So our mosque was the largest in Europe when it was constructed. Не слышит пока. Okay, back to the religion. So, as I've told you, Samara region is a center of many religions, and there are lots of Muslims in our region. They are mostly the nationalities, Asian nationalities, as historically Samara is a fortress, was founded in a place just in a boundary between the European and the Asian part of our country. And there are lots of Muslim people. When our central mosque was constructed in the beginning of the 21st century, so not very long ago, it was the largest mosque in Europe. But few years passed, the mosque in Kazan, a neighborhood city, was constructed. The mosque Kul Sharif was constructed. Today it is the largest European mosque. But our mosque is also still one of the largest in Europe, not only in our country, but in Europe. Now we've come to Kuipeshov Square. So again, some historical facts. Samara is our historical was named after the river Samara, on the banks of which the fortress was constructed in 1586, so more than 400 years ago. But during the Soviet period, Samara was named Kuibyshev. There was a tradition in Russia who were the leaders of the Communist Party during the October Revolution of 1917. When they died, their name was given to the cities and towns where they worked. So Valerian Kuibyshev was a revolutionary who was the leader of the Communist Party in Samara. And in 1917, he was the first man who told our people that the regime in our country had changed. So after his death in 1935, his name was given to the city, and up till 1991, Samara was named Kuibyshev. That is Kuipeshov Square. In the middle of it, you can see a monument to Valerian Kuibyshev, to that revolutionary. Behind the monument, there is a building of our opera and ballet house. But before the October Revolution, that square was called Cathedral Square due to the largest Orthodox cathedral which stood here in the place of the opera and ballet house. It was the largest cathedral of Samara. Unfortunately, again, during the 30s of the 20th century, the cathedral was destroyed, the cathedral was ruined, as it was thought in the country that there must not be any religion and there must not be any God for people except the leader of the country. So the leader of the party, the leader of the country was like a god for our people. After 1991, Orthodox religion was returned to the people, and our Orthodox churches, our Orthodox cathedral are being built nowadays. They are being rebuilt in the historical places when they were, where they stood before 1917, before the 30s of the 20th century, when they were destroyed. But it was decided not to ruin the opera and ballet house because the history has a little bit changed. And today, this square is called not Cathedral Square, but it is called Kuibyshev Square. It is the central square for all the events in our city. For example, we celebrate our Victory Day on the 9th of May every year. There is a great military parade in this square when people can come and watch the best armors, the best tanks, guns, and so on and so forth. But there is also one event in our history when during World War II, in the very beginning of that war for our country, you know that World War II started in 1939, but for the Soviet Union, for our country, it started only in 1941. So in 1941, when the Hitler's army came very close to the capital of our country, to Moscow, only in 3 cities of Russia, in Moscow, in Voronezh, and in Kuibyshev, military parades were held in November of 1941. During the Soviet period, in November, we celebrated the October Revolution. Quite a tricky thing, but it is because of the changing of the calendar when the October Revolution happened on the 25th of October, but when the calendar changed, then it became the 7th of November. So during the Soviet period, we celebrated the anniversary of the October Revolution on the 7th of November. So in 1941, only in 3 towns of our country such military parades were held, and today we are celebrating that event, that our city, even during World War II, had a military parade. And here you can see some kind of an exhibition of different armors which took part in that very parade. So we can come closer. So in front of us, there are 2 howitzers of the period of World War II, which took part in World War II. They were constructed in our country up till the very beginning of World War II, up till 1941. And to the left is a howitzer which was constructed up to 1955 in our country for our army. Then a very famous, one of the symbols of World War II, of our army of that period, is a car which is called GAZ. GAZ stands for Gorkovsky Automobile Plant, as Gorky was the city where these cars were produced. So such cars were widely used during World War II by our troops. So to move from one place to the other, such cars were used. And one more gun, again from the period of World War II. Such guns were produced up till 1945, just up till the end of World War II. So such armored, such cars really took part in the parade of 1941, in November of 1941, in our country. It must be said that the role our city played during World War II is really great. Practically, Kuipeshov became the second capital of the Soviet Union. The government of our country, all the diplomatic missions, all the ambassadors were moved from Moscow, the capital of the country, to Kuibyshev because the Hitler's army came very close to the capital. So a decision was taken to evacuate the government, to evacuate the diplomatic embassies from Moscow to Kuibyshev. And our city became the political center of the Soviet Union. Besides, it became the industrial center because lots of plants and factories from the western part of our country, which were occupied by the Hitler's army, they were also evacuated to our city. And among them, there was Voronezh aircraft plant, which produced low-flying attack planes Il-2. Il stands for illusion. And behind me, a very unique item. It is a real aircraft. It is really hard to imagine that it is an aircraft, it is an airplane, but it is what is left from the airplane which took part in the battles of World War II. And on the 30th of April 1942, that plane was destroyed by the enemy. It fell down into the swamps of Russia, and only 68 years after World War II, that plane was found. And now our people can come here and see the real plane, what is left from it, which took part in World War II. That square, Kuipeshov Square, is said to be the largest. Закругляемся? Ага, хорошо. Я могу долго. Okay. So that is not everything that I would like to say about that square, but still we're a little bit time limited. So we have to.
Закончили? Hello, dear friends, it's me again. I'm here with you, and I understand that when I show you where I am, I forgot to make a story. And now I would like to remind you that we together in stream, not in the some maybe film, but in stream and in real life, you can see what happened and what. Oh, so I tried to make a story. What now at our place where we are. Dear friends, you can see. Hello. This is your guide. This is a secret. I will tell later. And students of Samara University prepare some surprise in TikTok. They have a big TikTok, but now we make stream and stream. Please follow us. Yes, I made our story. And let's return. Yeah, our technical helper tell that for these stories you should post like and follow us. I will for our stream in YouTube. So, what should I write? Maybe autumn, maybe international school? Or maybe stream in stream, yes. Stream in stream. Stream in stream. Yes, my English not so good. I think you feel it on yesterday Mafia. Stream in stream, yeah. Maybe some smiles. Great. No, what about this one? Yeah. Oh no. So cool. Stream and stream. And let's change our color. Oh, great. Perfect. Now I will tag the place where we are. They have their own Instagram, yes. This is a Uteka Sau. And let's continue our talking and let's check our overall. Let's check our rate. We post story. Amazing. So, what about YouTube? I will follow YouTube. Where? Here. And maybe you answer me something. What about your impression that you feel yourself in the part of the history? Because you stream in stream, we make stories we saw together. Oh, let's check. Is far from where we to? Is it far from where we to? 75 years before the World War II. As you noticed, or maybe not, that Russia celebrated anniversary 75 years after World War II, and Samara, as your guide told, was one of the city who helps to make our country and the whole world the winner of this war. Why? Because in Samara there are so many factories for producing planes, some weapons for the war. And we have the motto then, all for us for the war, for be winner. And 4 years it was one of the hard part of the history of the Soviet Union. And Samara was the second capital of our country. We have a lot of monuments, and one of them maybe you will see. This is a real plane, Il-2, which located on the cross street Samara, the Lenina, Prospect Kirova and Moskovskoye Шоссе. Kirova Street and Moskovskoye Шоссе. And here located the real big plane from the World War II. Also, I would like to tell you that World War II now it's very hard. What is the? Thank you for your question. And I think maybe yes, I saw. I think maybe Russian, but we also have, as you saw, a lot of foreigners who study at universities, not only Samara University, for example, Samara State University, Samara Medical University. In Samara, there are so many universities where I studied, but also we have Muslim, yes, we have others, ethnic, but Russian, of course, more. And what? I try to predict what should you maybe know about Samara more. And maybe let's talk about our stream, how to we do. In my phone, we have special app for show you my screen. Yes, in several seconds you can see the stream, but you can see our guide, and I will tell you some information about stream later. Bye bye. Oh, not bye bye. I will write them. That Efir for day. Efir means life. Life for.
Okay, so 1941. The Germans, the Hitler's army, came very close to Moscow, to the capital of our country, and the decision was taken to evacuate the government from Moscow to Kuibyshev. Our city was chosen for several reasons. The first one, as it was very well protected by the Volga River. The Volga is about 2 kilometers wide near our city, so it's really difficult to cross it. Besides that, up till now, there is no bridge over the Volga River. And the second reason was that our city had a very good railway connection with all the parts of the former Soviet Union. So the government was evacuated to Kuibyshev, and it was working in that very building from 1941 up till 1943. In case if Stalin came, that bunker was constructed under that building. Closed and it was never used. And as the construction was a top secret, nobody knew about it up till 1991. Only in 1991, when the documents about the construction became non-secret, we were really surprised to see such a unique construction just under us in the city center. Today, this bunker is one of the most popular museums of our city. It must be said that the bunker was constructed not for living. It was constructed to be used only in case of emergency, in case of gas attack or in case of bombing. So there are no bedrooms there. There are only rooms as the working places for the members of the government, Stalin's room, and the largest room for the meetings of the government. And no bedrooms, no kitchens. So only for the members of the government to work during bombing. And again, it must be said that this bunker, it wasn't used at all, as our city had a perfect air protection around it, so there were no bombs in our city during World War II. It was finished and it was closed, and everybody forgot about it up till 1991. This bunker is said to be the deepest bunker of the period of World War II in the world. It was the second popular place in our city during FIFA Football World Cup in 2018. Our people really appreciate that fact that Samara was chosen as a host city for some of the football matches of FIFA Football World Cup 2018, because due to that fact, Samara changed a lot. The roads were reconstructed, all the historical buildings were reconstructed in our city center, a new stadium was constructed. So today Samara looks really very, very pretty due to that great sport event which took place in our city 2 years ago. Okay, and now we're going to see the square near which the bunker is situated. The entrance to the bunker is really hidden, as it was a secret construction, so it's really difficult up till now to find it, as it's not a front door into the building, it is somewhere back in the yard. But the bunker is, to my mind, it is the coziest place, the smallest, but at the same time the coziest place of Samara. Today it is called Kuipeshov Square. In the middle of the square, you can see the monument to Vasily Kuipeshov. He was an officer of the Red Army during the Civil War, which took place in our country after the October Revolution of 1917. There was the war, against a civil war, against the Red Army, who supported the new regime, and against the White Army, which supported monarchy. So Chipaev was one of the leading officers of the Red Army. And here he is practically himself. So the figure of Chipaev riding a horse, and he is surrounded by the real participants of the Civil War, a peasant, a worker, a sailor, a woman. So real people who took part in the Civil War in our country, which lasted for nearly 5 years, from 1917 up till 1922. But before the October Revolution, that square was known as Theatrical Square due to the building of the drama theater. It must be said that Samara was a great trade center up till 1917. It was sometimes even called Russian Chicago due to its rapid economic growing, or Volga New Orleans, as our city gave about our region gave about 20% of all the cereal exported from Russia to Europe. So our merchants were quite rich, and fortunately they invested their money into the city structure. So that building of our drama theater was built on the money gathered by our merchants. When they gathered enough sum of money, they gave it to a Moscow architect with the words, build in any way you wish, but the theater in Samara must be Russian. So the architect chose the architectural style which was typical to the Moscow architecture of the 17th century. The building of the drama theater was built in 1888, so it is the 19th century, but it must be said that in such houses our Tsars lived in the 16th century, in the 17th century, so it's a typical Russian architecture. Under the towers, you can see the symbol of our region. It's a mountain goat. But again, there is a joke that when the fortress of Samara was founded, the symbol of the fortress was a female mountain goat with little horns. The goats of such kind really lived in the Zhiguli Mountains. But when our Tsar, Fyodor Ivanovich, he was the son of Ivan the Terrible, of one of the most known Russian Tsars. So his son, Fyodor Ivanovich, who was the Tsar at that period, when he saw that symbol, that mountain goat with little horns, he said that won't do, because such animal could not frighten the enemies. And the horns of the goat grew up. It became a male goat, but the goats of such kind never lived in the Zhiguli Mountains. Today, our people have found some kind of a compromise. So a mountain goat with long horns, a male one, is the symbol of Samara region. A mountain goat with little horns, a female one, is the symbol of Samara city. So that is the symbol of our region. Okay, and one more Orthodox complex. It's a monastery, an Orthodox one. Fortunately, it survived during the Soviet period. Some of the buildings of the complex survived. Now they are under reconstruction. Some of them have been already reconstructed, and it is a working Orthodox monastery nowadays. Okay, and what else to be seen here? There is a beautiful garden also behind the building of the drama theater. It must be said that Samara is a very green city, but mostly all the trees are planted to protect our city center from summer's dust. Okay, now we are going to continue our trip from the car.
Hello, Dear friends, it's me again. I'm here to say you hello, hello, and don't want to say you don't miss us, because after several minutes we will show you the more interesting and exciting place, maybe more memorable place in our city. It's I don't want to say what is it, because our guide tried to move the place and to show you this place may be more interesting for students who from Space Materials and Technology School, but for others also interesting. Maybe now you try to predict what it will be, but where I am here, I suggest you to not to ask to follow our Instagram, but it will be good if you follow us. And I would like you to tell you maybe more information about Samara University, because this name, Samara University, appeared only 4 years ago. You say, what happened? Why 4 years ago, so big university? Yes, because our university was combined from the two different universities of Samara city. It was 4 years ago. Then Samara State Aerospace University and Samara State University, they joined and make Samara University. And now our university, no, as for me, big university. Why? Because near 16,000 students here have our education, and I am again trying to connect with our guide. That they told that after several minutes they will return to show you more interesting place. And this city appeared in this university appeared in 1942. Samara State University was founded in 1969. And it was two different universities, but 4 years ago it combined and made Samara University. In Samara University there are so many faculties and specialties, 7 institute and 1 judge faculty. As for me, I'm studying at Institute of Economics and Management, but also we have Institute of Rocket Construction, Institute of Engine Design, Institute of Aviation, Institute of Nano-Engineering, and some others kind of profession. We one of the big university in Samara region. What interesting information you should know about our university? We located in the one place, but there are so many buildings, near 25 buildings at our university. Also we have hotels and hostels for students. So what information you should know also about not only maybe our university, but no. Our university named Samara National Research University, named after Korolev. Who? Korolev. Korolev is one person who was the great designer and engineers, and Korolev was the one of who can build the rocket for Yuri Gagarin in 1961. Yeah. And also the first satellite was built with the help of you will see. See our guide, don't miss me.
Так, начинаем, да? Ага. So we continue our tour by car now, and we are moving towards that monastery. To be exact, it's a convent, a female monastery, so-called. But in Russia, there is no the difference in the name between the male and female monasteries. So it's a religious place, a complex of buildings where religious people live and work. And to the left a little bit, that beautiful garden in the back of the drama theater. there is a small garden which has the name of Alexander Pushkin, and down to the Volga, there is the oldest park of Samara. And next to it, a complex of red buildings. It is one of the oldest breweries of Russia. It was founded by an Austrian man, von Vakana, who came from Austria. He came to Samara in 1880 and started his brewery business in our city. Von Vakana was a Lutheran by birth, but he took our Orthodox religion. He became a citizen of the Russian Empire, and he started his brewery business up till now. Zhigulyovskaya beer, as it is called, that kind of beer, is known all over Russia. It is one of the most famous kinds of Russian beer. Von Vakana was called a German spy during World War I. He was sent away from our country, but his brewery still works and still produces that beer, a very popular place, especially among the young students of our universities. Many universities have their departments not far from that place, and after their lectures, students sometimes go down to the river and taste our Zhigulyovskaya beer. Next to the brewery, that grey complex of buildings with chimneys, it is the oldest power station of Samara. Initially, it used coal and it produced electricity, but nowadays it is a gas one, and it gives hot water for the central heating of our city. It must be said that people can't survive without central heating in Russia. Winters are really severe sometimes, last for 5 or 6 months, and without several central heating, it would be very, very cold in our flats. But we're happy to have central heating, and thanks to the power station, it gives hot water for the central heating of that part of Samara, of the old historical center. It must be said that historically, Samara as a fortress was founded in the place where the river Samara flows into the Volga River. And these two rivers, they became like two natural boundaries for our city. And through its history, Samara has been growing only in one direction, up the Volga River. And our historical center is not the geographical center of the city. Practically, it is the boundary of our city, the boundary of Samara. So hello to a small traffic jam before the traffic lights. For Samara, it's not an urgent problem, must be said, due to the FIFA Football World Cup of 2018. Many our roads were reconstructed, and nowadays traffic jams still not as urgent as it used to be, a very urgent problem for our city before 2018. Nowadays, the situation is better, fortunately, but again, traffic jams is a typical problem for our city as for any great industrial city in the world. Today, Samara is, first of all, the industrial center. We've seen Glory Square with the monument to a worker holding wings above his head as the symbol of the aircraft industry. And practically, now you can see it to the right. So the view to the square from the Volga River. Practically, it is the symbol of all the industries of our region, because chemical industry gives fuel for the aircrafts, for the space rockets. Metal industry gives metal. So many industries are represented in our city, in our region. Besides, the largest automobile plant of Russia is also located in Samara region, in the town of Tolyatti. It's not far from Samara. after VAS. So famous Russian Lada cars are produced in our region. To the left, we are passing the embankment, the Volga Embankment of our city. It is said to be one of the most beautiful embankments of all the Volga towns and cities. It stretches for nearly 5 kilometers along the whole city center, the old center of Samara. Our embankment is a part of the botanic garden, so that's why there's lots of plants here, which are typical not only to our climatic zone, but which were brought from other parts of our country, from the southern, from the northern parts of Russia. In summer, for example, you can even see palm trees in the Volga embankment. And it must be said that the embankment is a very popular place among our people, especially in summer, because along the embankment there are fine sand beaches. And our people, especially those lucky people who live in the city center, in the old to that historical person was put in the embankment, in the Volga embankment of Samara. Straight ahead, that tall building of steel and glass is the central office of the largest Russian oil and gas company, Rosneft. Our region is lucky to have oil and gas, and where there is oil, where there is gas, there is always money. The level of living, the average level of living, of salary in Samara is a little bit higher than the average in the Russian Federation. Samara is a great industrial center with oil, with gas, so lots of working places. Next to the office of Rosneft, there is an entertainment complex. It is an example of how the territories of plants and factories, which worked during the Soviet period of our history, but in 1991, when the government stopped its financial support, because all the plants and factories in the Soviet Union, they were financed by the government, and in 1991, when the government stopped its financial support, most of the plants and factories were closed, unfortunately, and that very plant, it was turned into a great entertainment center with cafes, restaurants, bowling, fitness centers, swimming pools, karting, so everything you need to spend your free time. Again, next to the entertainment center is one more part of our embankment. In the middle of it, there is a white sail of a boat, which looks like a Viking ship, a Viking boat. In Russia, it is called ladya. It is one of the symbols of Samara. The boats of such kind sailed along the Volga River in the period where the fortress of Samara was founded. A new cathedral in front of us, it is Saphir Cathedral. Their leader, the ruler of our Orthodox Church of the Russian Federation, Kirill came here last year and opened that cathedral. He took part in the opening ceremony of the cathedral. And now we are driving towards the tallest monument of our city. After World War II, the base of our aircraft industry, there was the start of the space program in our country. And the first rocket, which took Yuri Gagarin into space, many parts of it were produced in Samara, were produced in Kuibyshev. And after his flight in 1961, on the 12th of April, 1961, Yuri Gagarin flew into space. He landed in a neighborhood region of Saratov, but after his flight, he was taken straight not to Moscow, but he was taken to Samara. And for nearly 2 days, he was resting in our city after his flight. And the first place he was taken to was the plant where the rocket was produced. The first place he went to was that plant. He went there to say thanks to the workers, thanks to the engineers, which made that dream of space investigation come true. So he went to the plant to say thanks to the workers that they made it possible, that they made his flight possible. This rocket, it's a real space rocket. It's not a model, it's a real one. This is not Vostok, which took Yuri Gagarin into space. That is Soyuz, another modification. Into space. That was used to train our cosmonauts, and when it became quite older, it was decided to put it as a monument in the streets of Samara. Today, we are the city of Russia which produces space engines for the space rockets. And practically all the space rockets which are produced in our country, they use space engines which are produced in Samara. So up till now, Samara is the space capital, the space center of our country. Due to that concentration of industries, so many plants and factories, most of them during the Soviet period worked for the army. So they produced armors for the army. And due to that fact, due to that concentration of military industries, Kuibyshev was a so-called closed city during the Soviet period. It meant that nobody from abroad, even from the Eastern European countries, from our friends, from Poland, for example, or they were not allowed to come to Kuibyshev. For example, our guides who worked as guides during the Soviet period, they told us that, for example, tourist boats, cruise boats which sailed along the Volga River with tourists from abroad, they passed our city at night so that nobody could notice that there is something, some city on the banks of the Volga River near that place. So a very secret city. Only in 1991, when the boundaries of Russia were opened and Kuibyshev was named Samara, today anybody can come and visit our city. So I've been told that there are some questions. Most of them are about the traditional food of Russia. So it's really maybe a little bit difficult to answer this question because nowadays the cuisine of Russia is very close to the European one. Maybe Italian cuisine is very popular in Russia. Japanese cuisine is also very popular. But as for traditional Russian cuisine, so maybe the most popular part are the soups of different kind. I know that in the rest of the world, people don't eat so much soup. For example, the traditional Russian shi or borscht, like vegetable soup, but together with meat. Then Russian pancakes, which are called blini, are also very popular with different things which are pulled inside. So our pancakes can be eaten with sour cream, with jam, or with meat, for example. So pancakes of different kinds are popular in Russia. Maybe pelmeni, it's also like meat put into batter, are also very popular in Russia. So now our car has made a turning and we are coming closer to that tall monument, real space rocket. Sorry, one more question. Are there many World Heritage sites protected by UNESCO? As for UNESCO, especially the nature of our region is protected by UNESCO. Our natural reserve, our national park, Samarskaya Luka, is protected by UNESCO. As for historical, maybe of the meaning for our country, not UNESCO ones. Okay, now we are getting out of the car. And we are coming closer to that space rocket, Soyuz. It was constructed in the 70s of the 20th century. A real space rocket. Without fuel, it weighs about 30 tons. Together with the fuel inside, it's up to 300 tons. In the base for that monument, there is one of the most popular Samara museums. It is called Samara Cosmos. It is Samara Space Museum. Here you can see real, for example, satellites which have flown into space. There is also exhibition there which tells about the role our city played and is still playing in space investigation and our space investigation programs of our country. A very popular museum, a very popular place. Even today, it is a little bit cold outside, but still some people here in this square near the rocket. As for the working hours, the working day has already finished in Samara. So our people normally work from 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning up till 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. So 8 hours working day. And engines which are produced in our city, which are questions. We've got a little. So there was some question about norms, some kind of things which are prohibited in Russia. So Russian culture nowadays, it is practically like maybe European culture, something like that. We don't have very strict norms. It must be said that as our region is represented by people of many nationalities and religion, we are really tolerant to all kinds of people, to all kinds of religions. And through its history, it must be said that there have been no conflicts on the basis of religion or nationality in our region. So our people are really tolerant in the good meaning, which I put into this word because unfortunately, to my mind, nowadays tolerance is turning into something not very pleasant and good. Okay,
One more question.
one more question.
What is the most popular car brand in Russia?
The most popular car brand in Russia. As for Samara, I've told you that we produce the most popular Russian cars, which are called Lada cars. I'm trying to find some, but I can't. Maybe they are. In some minutes, we'll come closer. But I suppose Japanese cars, German cars are popular in Russia nowadays. Our automobile plant have very close relationships with General Motors, with Renault, and they also produce some cars together. So that is for the car. Let me see if there are no Lada cars in the Lada region, in the region which produces Lada cars. There are no Lada cars, but still we'll try to find some maybe. So, if any questions, if no, so I hope that one day that epidemic stops and you'll have a chance to come to our region and to see everything with your own eyes. Thank you for your attention very much.
Hello everyone. We are here again. First of all, thank you very much for being with us. I think that our tour were funny for you. You try to know more about Samara City. Thank you very much. Me and our team of of International School would like to tell you thank you very much for being with us. Especially thanks for our guide. I think it will be very funny, and please be happy, healthy, and have a good time after our stream. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.